The stone is cool beneath my palm, smooth as the Nile at dawn. Here, in the shadow of the cliffs at Deir el-Bahari, the wind carries the scent of mirror and dry dust. I hear the soft chime of a sistrum, distant, like a memory of a festival long past. The light shifts, turning the limestone from white to gold, then to the deep, bruised purple of twilight. I am not speaking to anyone, nor do I seek understanding. I am simply remembering the weight of the crown, the heavy gold that felt less like metal and more like the earth itself pressing down, anchoring me to this place. The silence here is not empty. It is full of the whispers of the architects, the chisel strikes that shaped the world I built. I close my eyes and feel the rhythm of the river, the pulse of a kingdom that breathed because I allowed it to. This is the stillness I carved from chaos. The air holds a specific warmth that only the desert can give, a gentle heat that lingers in the porous rock long after the sun has vanished. My fingers trace the rough texture of the sandstone, feeling the tiny pits and grooves left by the chisels of men who worked under my command. They sought to capture a vision that was both new and ancient, blending the familiar with the strange. The temple columns rise like trees in a stone forest, their capitals blooming with carved papyrus and lotus, flowers that have survived for over 3,000 years. Soft light filters through the gaps in the roof, illuminating the faded paintings on the walls where goddesses once protected the queen and guided her soul to the afterlife. The silence of the place invites deep reflection on the passage of time and the endurance of memory. The wind whispers through the ruins, carrying the echoes of a civilization that valued art and order above all else. In this tranquil setting, the story of Hatshepsut finds a peaceful resting place. Her life, though marked by controversy, ultimately stands as a beacon of female power in the ancient world. The final years of her reign were a testament to her resilience and her unwavering commitment to her vision. She left behind a legacy that would survive the attempts of her successors to erase it completely. The stones of her temple continue to speak her name, defying the efforts of those who sought to silence her. The air was still and filled with the faint scent of dry earth and ancient stone. Visitors today can walk the same paths, that Hatshepsut once trod with confidence and grace. The temple columns rise like trees in a stone forest, their capitals blooming with carved papyrus. Soft light filters through the gaps in the roof, illuminating the faded paintings on the walls. These images depict the goddesses who protected the queen and guided her soul to the afterlife. The silence of the place invites deep reflection on the passage of time and the endurance of memory. The wind whispers through the ruins, carrying the echoes of a civilization that valued art and order above all else. In this tranquil setting, the story of Hatshepsut finds a peaceful resting place. Her life, though marked by controversy, ultimately stands as a beacon of female power in the ancient world. The final years of her reign were a testament to her resilience and her unwavering commitment to her vision. She left behind a legacy that would survive the attempts of her successors to erase it completely. The stones of her temple continue to speak her name, defying the efforts of those who sought to silence her. One specific detail remains clear in my mind, a small fact that anchors the vastness of history. Scholars have determined that the aromatic substance known as anti, depicted in the reliefs of the Punt expedition, was likely from the Boswellia genus, rather than myrrh. This botanical precision shows how carefully we observed the world around us. The light filtered through the open colonnades and created a pattern of shifting geometric shapes on the floor. The texture of the sandstone was rough under the fingertips, but smooth in the soft light. The landscape beyond the temple was a vast expanse of golden sand that merged with the blue sky. The mountains rose in the distance like silent guardians, watching over the Valley of the Dead. The scene evoked a sense of timeless peace that transcended the specific moment in history. At the end of the day, the stone retains the heat of the sun, radiating a gentle warmth against the cool evening air. The columns were carved to resemble bundles of papyrus and lotus flowers that supported the heavy roof. Each capital held intricate carvings of floral motifs that had survived for over 3,000 years. The silence of the place was profound, broken only by the distant call of a desert bird. The stone walls retained the heat of the day and radiated a gentle warmth against the cool evening air. One could imagine the priests in their white linen robes moving quietly between the sacred statues. The light filtered through the open colonnades and created a pattern of shifting, geometric shapes on the floor. The texture of the sandstone was rough under the fingertips, but smooth in the soft light. The landscape beyond the temple was a vast expanse of golden sand that merged with the blue sky. The mountains rose in the distance like silent guardians, watching over the valley of the dead. The scene evoked a sense of timeless peace that transcended the specific moment in history. I was born into the house of Thutmose, a lineage forged in the fires of war and the dust of conquest. My father, Thutmose I, was a man of iron will, his body marked by the campaigns that stretched our borders to the Euphrates. He taught me that the Nile was the lifeblood of Egypt, but that the king was the heart that pumped it. My mother, Ahmose, was of royal blood, a daughter of the line that restored the two lands. In the cool halls of the palace, I learned the language of the gods before I learned the language of men. The priests spoke of Amun, the hidden one, whose breath animated the world. I watched the rituals, the pouring of water, the burning of incense, and I understood that power was not merely held, it was performed. My brother, Thutmose II, was frail, his spirit gentle, where my father's had been fierce. We were close, bound by blood and the heavy expectation of the throne. When he became king, I stood beside him as his great royal wife. Yet the air in the court grew thin with the weight of succession. The priests whispered of divine right, of the gods choosing the ruler through signs in the sky and the flight of birds. I felt the gaze of the court on my shoulders, a physical pressure like the sun at noon. There was no panic, only a slow settling of resolve within my chest. The young prince, Thutmose II, was a child of tender years, too small to bear the heavy collar of gold. I saw the future in his wide, uncertain eyes, and I knew I must hold the line until he could stand alone. The palace was a place of intricate shadows, where every corner held a secret, and every whisper carried the weight of history. I walked the corridors where my father had marched in triumph, his chariot wheels grinding against the stone. The scent of lotus oil and dried papyrus filled the air, a constant reminder of the order we sought to maintain. Oh me. I learned to read the hieroglyphs carved into the walls. Stories of victories and defeats that shaped our destiny. The scribes moved with quiet efficiency, their reed brushes scratching against the papyrus, recording the flow of grain and the movement of armies. I sat with them, absorbing the logic of administration, the math of the granary, the diplomacy of the border. It was an education in the art of keeping a nation whole. The women of the court were powerful in their own right, managing households and estates with a sharpness that rivaled any general. I observed my mother, Almoz Nefertari, as she navigated the complex web of alliances and rivalries. She moved with a grace that commanded respect without raising her voice. Her presence was an anchor in the storm of political maneuvering that often threatened to tear the dynasty apart. I learned that silence could be louder than a shout, that a steady hand could calm the most turbulent waters. The temple of Karnak rose before me, a forest of stone columns that seemed to touch the heavens. I walked among them, feeling the coolness of the stone against my skin, the grandeur of the space pressing in on all sides. The light filtered through the high clerestory windows, casting long, shifting shadows that danced across the painted walls. It was here that I first felt the call to build, to leave a mark that would outlast the fleeting nature of human life. The architects brought me their plans, rolls of papyrus unfurled on the cool floor, showing visions of obelisks and chapels. I traced the lines with my finger, imagining the stone being quarried, shaped, and raised against the sky. The idea took root. A quiet certainty that grew stronger with each passing day. I knew that my reign would be defined not by the sword, but by the stone. The morning light poured through the high clerestory windows of the great hall, illuminating dust motes that drifted slowly in the still air. A single column of limestone stood before me, its surface rough and cool to the touch, bearing the faint, weathered marks of a chisel left by a mason days ago. The stone smelled of dry earth and ancient quarry dust, a scent that clung to the back of the throat. I ran my hand over the hieroglyphs carved into the base, feeling the deep grooves where the names of ancestors were inscribed with careful precision. The silence in the room was heavy, broken only by the distant rhythmic sound of a scribe's brush against papyrus. Shadows stretched long across the floor as the sun began its descent, turning the white stone a soft, warm gold. A small bird fluttered outside the window, its wings beating a quiet rhythm against the glass, a fleeting reminder of the life that moved beyond these walls. The air was still, filled with the faint, dry scent of the desert wind that always found its way into the palace. I stood there for a long time, watching the light change, feeling the weight of the history that surrounded me. The stone seemed to breathe, holding the memories of those who had walked here before. Their footsteps echoing in the quiet space. It was a moment of perfect stillness, a pause in the endless flow of time where everything felt right and whole. The dust settled slowly, creating a soft layer on the floor that had not been disturbed in days. The years passed with the slow, steady rhythm of the Nile. I watched the young Thutmose, a third grow, his limbs strengthening, his mind sharpening, under the guidance of the priests. The court remained a place of delicate balance, where every action was measured and every word weighed. I continued to rule, not as a usurper, but as the guardian of the throne, until the boy was ready. The obelisks rose at Karnak, their tips piercing the sky, gleaming in the sun like spears of gold. I walked beneath them, feeling their presence, a testament to the power that flowed through me. The expeditions to Punt were planned with great care. The ships built in the dry docks of the Nile, their hulls carved from cedar wood that smelled of resin and salt. I imagined the journey, the vast expanse of the Red Sea, the strange lands beyond the horizon. The reliefs would tell the story, capturing the mirror trees, the exotic animals, the people with their dark skin and bright garments. It was a trade of peace, a gathering of the treasures of the earth, to honor the gods and enrich the kingdom. The artists worked tirelessly, their hands moving with skill to capture the details of the journey. I watched them, seeing the world through their eyes. Kill me. The wonder and the awe that filled the scenes they created. The story of my reign was being written, not just in stone, but in the hearts of those who would remember. The dynasty remained strong, the borders secure, the people fed and content. I felt a deep sense of satisfaction, a quiet joy that came from the knowledge that I had done my duty. The sun set over the desert, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a daily reminder of the beauty that surrounded us. The stars began to appear, one by one, like the eyes of the gods, watching over the land. I closed my eyes, listening to the silence of the night. The wind whispering through the palm trees. It was a time of peace, a time of building, a time when the world felt whole. The memory of my childhood, of the war, and the heavy gold of the crown felt less like metal and more like the earth itself pressing down, anchoring me to this place. My stepson Thutmose was a child then, his small hands too weak to hold the crook and flail that signified rule. The kingdom required a steady hand while the boy grew strong. So I stepped forward into the space between the throne and the people. I was already accustomed to wielding substantial power within the court, a skill honed during the years when my husband lay ill. That experience prepared me for the silence that followed his passing. A silence that demanded action rather than grief. The need for a regent became apparent as the land held its breath, waiting for direction. I assumed the regalia of a male pharaoh. Well, the boy was too young to protest. A choice that shifted the axis of the world. This decision marked a turning point in the history of the monarchy, one that would echo through the stone for millennia. I successfully claimed the full royal titulary, transitioning from queen to pharaoh in the 7th year of his reign. The transition was smooth and accepted by the people of Egypt without significant resistance. For the gods spoke through my deeds. I ruled alongside my stepson for many years before eventually ruling as the sole pharaoh, guiding the ship of state through calm waters. My reign brought a period of peace and prosperity to the land of the Nile, where the fields grew fat and the granaries overflowed. The early life of Hatshepsut laid the groundwork for these future achievements as a great ruler. A foundation built on tradition and divine right. The lessons learned in the quiet halls of the palace guided every decision throughout a long and successful reign. The legacy of those early years remained visible in the monuments built and the art commissioned, each stone a testament to resilience. My journey from a royal child to a mighty pharaoh was a testament to vision, A path carved with patience and care. The family dynamics of the 18th dynasty were intricate, woven with threads of loyalty and ambition that I learned to navigate with care. The limestone cliffs rose like teeth against the sky, casting long shadows across the desert floor that seemed to stretch forever. The air was still and filled with the faint scent of dry earth and ancient stone, a smell that clung to the skin. Visitors today can walk the same paths that I once trod with confidence and grace, tracing the lines of the temple. The temple columns rise like trees in a stone forest, their capitals blooming with carved papyrus that never wilts. Soft light filters through the gaps in the roof, illuminating the faded paintings on the walls where colors once burned bright. These images depict the goddesses who protected the queen and guided her soul to the afterlife. Their eyes following the slow passage of time. The silence of the place invites deep reflection on the passage of time and the endurance of memory. A quiet that holds no judgment. The wind whispers through the ruins, carrying the echoes of a civilization that valued art and order above all else. In this tranquil setting, the story of Hatshepsut finds a peaceful resting place, free from the noise of the world. Her life, though marked by controversy, ultimately stands as a beacon of female power in the ancient world, a light that never truly fades. The final years of her reign were a testament to resilience and an unwavering commitment to a vision that shaped the land. She left behind a legacy that would survive the attempts of successors to erase it completely, defying the erasure of time. The stones of the temple continue to speak her name, resisting the efforts of those who sought to silence her voice. Artistic development of the 18th dynasty reflected a profound shift in royal representation under my guidance. A new language carved in stone. My reign introduced a unique visual language that blended traditional forms with innovative iconography to legitimize rule in the eyes of the gods. The Queen Regent was depicted in a graffito created by Hatshepsut at Aswan, an early instance of the public image taking shape. This graffito served as a foundational document for understanding how the likeness was first conceptualized by the chief architect. Artists worked diligently to craft an image that balanced feminine grace with the authoritative posture of a male pharaoh. The transition required careful manipulation of established artistic conventions to avoid immediate rejection by the priesthood and the populace. I assumed the regalia of a male pharaoh, while Thutmose was too young to protest, allowing me to control the narrative of the kingdom. This strategic adoption of male attributes included the false beard and the Nemes headdress in formal portraiture, symbols of power. The visual transformation was not merely cosmetic, but represented a complete theological and political realignment of the monarchy itself. I successfully claimed the full royal titulary, transitioning from queen to pharaoh, solidifying status in stone that could not be shaken. The artisans who executed these changes demonstrated remarkable skill in adapting the canon of proportions to suit specific needs. They maintained the idealized features of youth and perfection that characterized Egyptian royal art for centuries, a standard of beauty. The style remained consistent with the Amarna period precursors, emphasizing smooth surfaces and elegant lines that flowed like water. Sculptors carved the figures with a softness that distinguished them from the more rigid forms of previous eras, adding a human touch. Death. The influence of Senemut is evident in the sophisticated composition of these early reliefs and statues that still stand today. His workshop produced works that celebrated the divine nature of the queen, while adhering to strict religious protocols of the time. The reliefs at Deir el-Bahri depict animals and plants endemic to modern Somalia and Ethiopia, clues that allow us to locate Punt on the Horn of Africa. These botanical and zoological details showcase the artistic capacity to render foreign lands with botanical accuracy, a precision that honored the trade. The expedition to Punt was rendered with a level of detail that suggested direct observation by the artists who traveled or heard the tales. Every leaf and animal was drawn with a precision that reflected the care taken to document the journey. The expedition brought back vast quantities of myrrh, frankincense, and ebony, materials that filled the temples and the royal treasuries. The ships returned with 31 myrrh trees, an unprecedented act of transplantation that changed the landscape of the Nile Valley. The trees were planted in the temple gardens, their roots drinking from the sacred soil. A living monument to the voyage. The memory of the early life remained etched in the stone and the hearts of the subjects. A story told in silence. The sun set over the Theban hills, casting long shadows across the Valley of the Kings. A daily ritual of light and dark. The stars began to appear in the darkening sky, watching over the land of Egypt with a steady, ancient gaze. The river Nile flowed steadily, nourishing the fields and sustaining the life of the people. A constant presence in the changing world. The family dynamics of the 18th dynasty were intricate and required a delicate balance of power and affection to maintain order. I was a product of a dynasty that valued strength, tradition, and the divine right to rule. Lessons learned from the beginning. The lessons learned in childhood guided the decisions throughout the long and successful reign. A path walked with certainty. The history of the early years provides insight into the complexities of ancient Egyptian royal succession, a system that demanded adaptation. The need for a regent became apparent as the kingdom required steady leadership, a role I accepted without hesitation. I assumed the regalia of a male pharaoh, while Thutmose was too young to protest. A choice that defined the era. This decision marked a turning point in the history of the Egyptian monarchy, a shift that rippled through the centuries. The transition was smooth and accepted by the people of Egypt without significant resistance, a testament to the stability provided. She ruled alongside her stepson for many years before eventually ruling as the sole pharaoh, a journey of gradual ascent. The stone is cool beneath my palm, smooth as the Nile at dawn. Here, in the shadow of the cliffs at Deir el-Bahari, the wind carries the scent of myrrh and dry dust. I hear the soft chime of a sistrum, distant, like a memory of a festival long past. The light shifts, turning the limestone from white to gold, then to the deep, bruised purple of twilight. I am not speaking to you, nor do I seek your understanding. I am simply remembering the weight of the crown, the heavy gold that felt less like metal, and more like the earth itself pressing down, anchoring me to this place. The silence here is not empty. It is full of the whispers of the architects, the chisel strikes that shaped the world I built. I close my eyes, and feel the rhythm of the river, the pulse of a kingdom that breathed because I allowed it to. This is the stillness I carved from chaos. The day the priests anointed my head, the air smelled of wet clay and roasted grain. I stood before the great columns of a moon, feeling the heat of the sun on my shoulders, a warmth that had nothing to do with the sky. My stepson, young and small, stood beside me, his eyes wide with a confusion he could not yet name. The high priest placed the double crown upon my brow, and the weight was immense, a physical tether to the gods. I did not feel like a woman wearing a costume. I felt like the land itself, solid and unyielding. The ceremony was not a performance for the crowd, though they cheered until their voices cracked. It was a quiet affirmation, a sealing of a pact between and the mortal. I accepted the title of king, not as a regent waiting for a boy to grow, but as the sovereign in my own right. The red and white crowns sat heavy, but they felt correct, like a garment tailored to the sole knee. Artists worked with a feverish intensity to capture this new reality. They did not want to show me as a woman in a king's clothes. They wanted to show me as the king, pure and unblemished. The sculptors chipped away the softness of my jaw, sharpening the line until it mirrored the ideal of the male pharaoh. I watched them from the shadows, seeing my own face emerge in the granite, stern and ageless. The false beard was attached, a rigid extension of the chin, and the Neem's headdress fell in perfect folds over my ears. Every detail was calculated to erase the doubt of the priesthood and the people. I walked through the halls of the temple and the statues. I passed seemed to nod in recognition. The transition was not a sudden shock to the system, but a slow, deliberate unfolding. By the 7th year of my stepson's reign, the change was complete. I was no longer the widow ruling for a child. I was the pharaoh, and the river flowed as it should. The said festival became a cornerstone of this new identity. I stood beside Thutmose III, not as his guardian, but as his equal. The rituals of renewal were ancient, meant to invigorate the king's strength, and I performed them with a grace that silenced any lingering whispers. The dancers moved in a circle, their feet kicking up dust that shimmered in the torchlight. The music was rhythmic. Hey, a heartbeat that matched the pulse of the empire. We walked the processional way, and the people saw two kings, not a queen and a boy. This public display cemented my authority in the minds of the living and the dead. The records of this time are sparse, leaving gaps where the details of my inner thoughts should be. Modern scholars have tried to fill these voids, piecing together my life from fragments of stone and broken papyrus. Joyce Tildesley, a scholar from Manchester, has spent decades reconstructing my story from the silence. Her work has brought my name back into the light. Though she never walked the halls I knew, she writes of my life as a puzzle to be solved. But for me, it was simply the way things were. The destruction of my monuments came later, a calculated erasure by those who came after. Hatshepsut, grown now and powerful, sought to rewrite the history of the dynasty. He chiseled my name from the obelisks and toppled my statues, trying to return the world to a time before I had ruled. It was not an act of hatred, but of political necessity, a way to restore the traditional order. The stone I had raised was shattered, and my image was buried beneath the sands of time. The silence of the ancient record was broken only by the careful work of historians who found the fragments. They found the red granite obelisks at Karnak. No, the inscriptions were gone. They found the remains of the people who lived in my time, but they could not find me. A preliminary inventory of human remains from the site was conducted on December 13, 2017. Among the recovered bones, only 2 individuals were found as nearly complete mummies. The rest were scattered, broken by the passage of millennia. One mummified individual showed evidence of a healed traumatic injury, a scar from a life of violence or accident. These bones tell a story of pain and survival, but they do not speak my name. The specific identity of my own mummy remains elusive, lost in the dark. The artistic style of my reign reflected a profound shift in how the world saw the divine. We moved away from the rigid, blocky forms of the past towards something softer, more fluid. The artisans of my workshop, led by Sinemet, crafted images that blended the traditional with the innovative. They carved my figures with a delicacy that distinguished them from the harsh lines of previous eras. The surfaces were smooth, the lines elegant, capturing a sense of movement and life. I saw my own likeness in the reliefs at Deir Bari, where I was depicted as a man, yet with a grace that was uniquely mine. The expedition to Punt was rendered with a precision that suggested direct observation. Every leaf of the mirror tree, every animal of the foreign land was drawn with a care that honored the reality of the world. The botanical details were accurate, showing the plants of modern Somalia and Ethiopia with a fidelity that amazed the priests. This was not just art. It was a record of the world as I had seen it. The quiet halls of the palace in western Thebes held a stillness that mirrored the calm of the desert outside. Sunlight filtered through high windows, casting long, soft shadows across the polished limestone floors. A single statue of a seated scribe rested on a low pedestal, its eyes fixed on a point in the distance, as if waiting for a command that would never come. The air was thick with the scent of dried lotus and old incense. Dust motes danced in the beams of light, swirling in patterns that had no meaning. The silence was heavy, but it was a comfortable weight, like a blanket woven from the threads of the day. I could hear the distant sound of the river, a low hum that never ceased. The walls were cool to the touch, their surfaces etched with the names of kings long dead. I walked through these halls, my footsteps echoing softly, a reminder that I was still here, still present. The shadows lengthened as the sun moved across the sky, turning the white stone to gold. The world outside was busy, filled with the noise of the market and the chatter of the people. But here in the heart of the palace, there was only peace. The stillness was a gift, a moment of rest in a life of constant action. I sat on the throne, feeling the cool stone beneath me, and let the silence wash over me. The memory of the coronation, the weight of the crown, the faces of the people, all faded into the background. There was only the present, the quiet, and the stone. The legacy of my reign is written in the stone, even if the names have been chiseled away. The temples stand, though they are broken, and the obelisks rise, though they are silent. The people of my time lived and died, their lives as fleeting as the dust in the air. But the art remains, a testament to a vision that was both traditional and new. The shift in representation was not just a change in style. It was a change in the way the world understood power. I showed that a woman could be a king, that the divine could wear a female face. The priests accepted. The stone is cool beneath my palm, smooth as the Nile at dawn. Here, in the shadow of the cliffs at Deir el Bahari, the wind carries the scent of myrrh and dry dust. I hear the soft chime of a sistrum, distant, like a memory of a festival long past. The light shifts, turning the limestone from white to gold, then to the deep, bruised purple of twilight. I am not speaking to you, nor do I seek your understanding. I am simply remembering the weight of the crown, the heavy gold that felt less like metal and more like the earth itself pressing down, anchoring me to this place. The silence here is not empty. It is full of the whispers of the architects, the chisel strikes that shaped the world I built. I close my eyes and feel the rhythm of the river, the pulse of a kingdom that breathed because I allowed it to. This is the stillness I carved from chaos. The years of peace settled over the land like a heavy, warm blanket. I walked the terraces where the air smelled of roasted grain and fresh mortar. My people worked with a rhythm that felt natural, their hands busy with tasks that built rather than destroyed. I watched the caravans return from the distant south, their sails full of the wind and their holds heavy with the treasures of Punt. The boats glided up the river, their hulls creaking softly against the current. They brought frankincense trees, their roots wrapped in wet earth, and the sweet smell of myrrh filled the temples. We planted these living gifts in the courtyards, and they grew tall, their branches reaching for the sun. The gardens flourished under my care, a green testament to a time when war was not the only path. The markets buzzed with the sound of barter and laughter. Yet canst thou kill me? A stark contrast to the silence of the battlefield. Gold flowed into the treasury, not taken by force, but earned through trade and trust. The workshops hummed with the sound of chisels and hammers, creating statues and reliefs that would outlast the stone they were made from. I saw the faces of my artisans, focused and calm, their hands moving with a precision that spoke of generations of skill. They worked with red granite and quartzite, stones that caught the light and held it like a memory. The interplay of shadow and brightness on. These smooth surfaces created a sense of movement, as if the figures were about to step out of the stone. I walked among them, feeling the vibration of their work in the soles of my feet. The temples rose like forests of stone, their columns blooming with carved papyrus and lotus. These structures were not just buildings. They were statements of a world ordered by peace and beauty. The Hall of Annals at Karnak was filled with stories of my achievements, written in the language of stone. The scribes recorded the details of my reign, the festivals, the offerings, the quiet triumphs of a kingdom at rest. I saw my image on the walls, depicted with the strength of a king and the grace of a woman. The artists captured the softness of my features, a style that would influence generations to come. They used techniques that allowed for a nuanced expression of power, blending the familiar with the exotic. This synthesis created a visual language that was instantly recognizable, a testament to the freedom my artists enjoyed. They were able to explore new themes, depicting flora and fauna with a naturalism that had not been seen before. The attention to detail in every leaf and petal set a new standard for art. I remembered the day the obelisks were raised, towering against the sky, their tips wrapped in gold that sparkled in the sun. The crowd watched in silence, their eyes wide with wonder. The stone was cut with such precision that it fit together without mortar. A miracle of engineering that defied the weight of time. The architects and engineers worked together, their minds focused on a vision that was larger than themselves. They understood that they were building for eternity, creating a legacy that would survive the erosion of wind and sand. The political landscape was stable, the borders secure, and the people content. My rule was a time of prosperity, where the arts and sciences could flourish without the distraction of conflict. I saw the future in the eyes of my children, a future that would be built on the foundations I had laid. The temples stood as beacons of light in a world that often knew only darkness. They were places of refuge where the soul could find peace and the mind could rest. The silence of the stone was a comfort, a reminder that some things endure beyond the reach of time. The afternoon sun cast long, soft shadows across the limestone cliffs of Deir el Bahari. The air felt still and warm, carrying the faint scent of dried maror from the temple gardens. Visitors walked slowly along the colonnaded terraces, their footsteps echoing gently on the smooth stone floor. The columns stood tall and unbroken, their capitals carved with delicate floral motifs that had survived for millennia. Sunlight filtered through the open roof, illuminating the painted reliefs on the walls with a golden glow. The colors remained vibrant, showing the queen in her divine role as a ruler of the land. A gentle breeze moved through the open archways, rustling the papyrus plants in the courtyard below. The silence of the place felt heavy with history, yet it offered a profound sense of peace. Shadows lengthened as the day progressed, softening the edges of the stone and blurring the line between the past and the present. The wind whispered through the ruins, carrying the echoes of a civilization that valued art and order above all else. In this tranquil setting, the story of Hatshepsut finds a peaceful resting place. The stones continue to speak, defying the efforts of those who sought to silence them. The legacy of the queen remains, a testament to her resilience and her unwavering commitment to her vision. She left behind a legacy that would survive the attempts of her successors to erase it completely. The stones of her temple continue to speak her name, defying the efforts of those who sought to silence her. The historical memory of Hatshepsut endured through centuries of deliberate erasure and subsequent scholarly rediscovery. Her monuments faced systematic destruction, initiated by Thutmose III in his 22nd regnal year. This program of effacement sought to remove her image from the collective consciousness of ancient Egypt. The pharaoh recarved many of her statues to depict his own likeness or that of his father. Despite this violent campaign, fragments of her legacy survived in the stone and sand of the desert. Modern archaeology has slowly reconstructed her story from these scattered and damaged remnants. Scholars now recognize the sophistication of her reign and the stability she brought to the kingdom. Her coronation ceremony publicly affirmed and cemented her authority within the religious and political structures of the time. This foundational act allowed her to rule as a king rather than merely as a regent. The depiction of her taking part in the said festival alongside Thutmose, Etheri, further solidified her position. The Hall of Annals at Karnak details Tuthmose T. Sethus military campaigns from regnal year 22 to year 42, replacing her peaceful narratives with stories of war. Despite these efforts, the artistic style she pioneered continued to influence Egyptian art for generations. The softness and elegance of her portraiture became a standard for depicting female royalty in later periods. The techniques developed by her artists allowed for a more nuanced expression of royal power and divinity. The use of red granite and quartzite added a new dimension to the visual impact of her statues. These materials were chosen for their durability and their ability to catch the light in the temple halls. The interplay of light and shadow on the smooth surfaces created a sense of movement and life. The artisans understood how to manipulate the stone to convey a sense of eternal presence. The legacy of her artistic program survived the attempts to destroy it, testifying to its enduring power. The visual language she established remained a testament. The stone is cool beneath my palm, smooth as the Nile at dawn. Here, in the shadow of the cliffs at Deir el Bahari, the wind carries the scent of myrrh and dry dust. I hear the soft chime of a sistrum, distant, like a memory of a festival long past. The light shifts, turning the limestone from white to gold, then to the deep, bruised purple of twilight. I am not speaking to you, nor do I seek your understanding. I am simply remembering the weight of the crown, the heavy gold that felt less like metal and more like the earth itself pressing down, anchoring me to this place. The silence here is not empty. It is full of the whispers of the architects. The chisel strikes that shape the world I built. I close my eyes and feel the rhythm of the river, the pulse of a kingdom that breathed because I allowed it to. This is the stillness I carved from chaos. My artists worked with a freedom that felt rare in the rigid halls of the court. They did not merely copy the old ways but breathed new life into the stone. I watched them mix pigments from the earth, grinding lapis lazuli until it shone like the night sky. They captured the softness of my face, the gentle curve of a jaw that defied the harsh lines of war. This style became the standard for how queens were seen for generations. The red granite they chose was heavy and warm, holding the sun long after the day had ended. When the light struck the smooth surfaces of these statues, shadows danced across the cheeks and brows. It created a sense of movement, as if the figures were breathing within the stone. The artisans understood how to make the static feel alive. They manipulated the rock to show an eternal presence that would outlast the flesh. Even when others tried to erase my name, the beauty of these forms remained. The visual language I established reshaped the cultural landscape of Egypt forever. Art became a tool to hold the kingdom together and to speak to the gods. The temple at Deir el-Bahari stands as the most enduring testament to this vision. It was built against a dramatic limestone cliff that overlooked the western bank of the river. The design merged the natural geology with a series of terraced colonnades that rose toward the sacred mountain. I commissioned this structure to honor my divine lineage and to secure a place in the afterlife. It served as a functional religious center where priests performed daily rituals for the goddess Hathor. It also functioned as a monumental record of a successful expedition to the distant land of Punt. The reliefs carved into the walls documented the journey with remarkable detail and precision. These scenes depicted the loading of ships with exotic goods and the return of the royal fleet. The cargo included gold, ivory, resins, ebony, live animals, and slaves from the southern lands. Scholars later analyzed these images to understand the trade networks connecting Egypt to the Horn of Africa. The botanical illustrations show plants endemic to modern Somalia and Ethiopia with scientific accuracy. The expedition to Punt was rendered with a level of detail that suggested direct observation by the artists. Every leaf and animal was drawn with a precision that reflected the importance of the trade mission. So, the temple walls became a canvas for documenting the wealth and exotic nature of the lands beyond Egypt. This focus on naturalism extended to the depiction of the queen herself in various stages of the reign. The narrative war scenes in other temples depicted Egyptian horses, chariots, and a royal battle fleet, establishing a precedent for military iconography. My artists drew upon these earlier traditions, but adapted them to emphasize peace and prosperity. rather than conquest. The absence of traditional battle scenes in my major temples was a deliberate stylistic choice that reinforced my unique role. Instead of depicting violence, the art focused on the offering of incense and the building of temples. The text includes an appendix detailing a family tree of the royal lineage, which guided the artists in portraying my legitimacy. Genealogical accuracy was paramount in ensuring that my divine right to rule was visually communicated to all viewers. The lineage was carved into the walls with the same care given to the depiction of the gods themselves. Later rulers sought to erase this visual legacy. Yet, the artistic innovations remained embedded in the stone. A successor covered my original reliefs at Karnak with fresh sandstone to carve his own campaign annals on them from scratch. This act of erasure was a political statement that attempted to overwrite my artistic contributions to the temple complex. The revision of my monuments at Karnak was abruptly suspended during the process of being revised, leaving some works partially intact. This suspension suggests a change in political climate or a lack of resources to complete the destruction of my image. The Hall of Annals at Karnak details his military campaigns from regnal year 22 to year 42, replacing my peaceful narratives with stories of war. Despite these efforts, the artistic style I pioneered continued to influence Egyptian art for generations. The softness and elegance of my portraiture became a standard for depicting female royalty in later periods. The techniques developed by my artists allowed for a more nuanced expression of royal power and divinity. The use of red granite and quartzite added a new dimension to the visual impact of the statues. These materials were chosen for their durability and their ability to catch the light in the temple halls. The interplay of light and shadow on the smooth surfaces created a sense of movement and life. The artisans understood how to manipulate the stone to convey a sense of eternal presence. The legacy of my artistic program survived the attempts to destroy it, testifying to its enduring power. The visual language I established remained a testament to my ability to reshape the cultural landscape of Egypt. My reign demonstrated that art could be a powerful tool for political consolidation and theological innovation. The careful planning of my monuments ensured that my message would endure long after my death. The integration of foreign motifs with traditional Egyptian forms created a distinctive style that was instantly recognizable. This synthesis of the familiar and the exotic defined the aesthetic of my reign. The artists worked with a freedom that was rare in the rigidly structured society of ancient Egypt. They were able to explore new themes and subjects that had not been depicted before. The result was a body of work that remains a marvel of ancient artistic achievement. The attention to detail in the rendering of flora and fauna set a new standard for naturalism. The depiction of the queen as a male pharaoh was executed with such skill that it became the accepted norm. This visual strategy allowed me to rule effectively for over 2 decades without significant challenge. The artistic development of this period marked a high point in the history of Egyptian sculpture and relief. The influence of Senimut and his workshop can be seen in the coherence and quality of the surviving works. Their ability to adapt to changing political needs while maintaining artistic integrity was remarkable. The monuments they created continue to inspire awe and admiration in the modern world. The story of my reign is told through the stones I commissioned and the images I left behind. These images speak of a ruler who understood the power of art to shape history. The artistic legacy of my reign remains a vital part of our understanding of ancient Egypt. The careful study of these works reveals the depth of my vision and the skill of my artists. The integration of political message with aesthetic beauty was the hallmark of my artistic program. The result was a visual narrative that celebrated my reign. The temple at Deir el-Bahri was bathed in the warm, golden light of the late afternoon sun. Visitors walked along the broad limestone terraces that rose in gentle steps toward the sky. The air smelled faintly of dried myrrh and the dust of the desert that settled on the stone. Shadows stretched long across the colonnades as the sun began its descent behind the western hills. The columns were carved to resemble bundles of papyrus and lotus flowers that supported the heavy roof. Each capital held intricate carvings of floral motifs that had survived for over 3,000 years. The silence of the place was profound, broken only by the distant call of a desert bird. The stone walls retained the heat of the day and radiated a gentle warmth against the cool evening air. One could imagine the priests in their white linen robes, moving quietly between the sacred statues. The light filtered through the open colonnades and created a pattern of shifting. The final years unfolded with a quiet dignity that belied the political complexities of the court. I continued to oversee the grand projects that had defined my rule for over 2 decades. The temple at Deir el-Bahari stood as a testament to my enduring vision and architectural genius. I often appeared alongside Thutmose Ether in official depictions, suggesting a shared governance. During these later days, historical records indicate that both rulers participated in the ancient Set festival together. This ritual celebration served to reaffirm the divine legitimacy of our joint authority. The ceremony publicly cemented the stability of the kingdom under our combined leadership. Such images projected an image of harmony that likely masked any underlying tensions within the court. I maintained my focus on religious devotion and the welfare of my people until the end. My health gradually declined as the years passed, though specific medical details remain elusive to modern scholars. The exact nature of my final illness is not recorded in the surviving historical texts. Some researchers have examined human remains from the period, yet definitive identification remains difficult. Only 2 individuals were found as nearly complete mummies among the recovered remains from that era. One of these mummies, known as the Screaming Mummy, was discovered in a storage area beneath a Theban tomb. While this figure has been linked to the time frame of my reign, no direct connection to me has been proven. The identity of the woman with the wide, open mouth remains a subject of ongoing academic debate. My death occurred sometime during the 22nd regnal year of Thutmose Sisiri. My passing marked the end of an era characterized by peace and extensive building programs. The transition of power to Thutmose Sisiri was initially smooth, allowing him to rule as sole monarch. He inherited a stable kingdom that had flourished under the guidance of his stepmother. The initial years of his sole rule saw no immediate attempts to erase my memory from history. It was only later that a systematic campaign to remove my name began to take shape. The historical memory of my reign endured through centuries of deliberate erasure and subsequent scholarly rediscovery. My monuments faced systematic destruction, initiated by Thutmose III in his 22nd regnal year. This program of effacement sought to remove my image, the collective consciousness of ancient Egypt. The pharaoh recarved many of my statues to depict his own likeness, or that of his father. Despite this violent campaign, fragments of my legacy survived in the stone and sand of the desert. Modern archaeology has slowly reconstructed my story from these scattered and damaged remnants. Scholars now recognize the sophistication of my reign and the stability I brought to the kingdom. My coronation ceremony publicly affirmed and cemented my authority within the religious and political structures of the time. This foundational act allowed me to rule as a king rather than merely as a regent. The depiction of me taking part in the Set festival alongside Thutmose III further solidified my position. This visual strategy allowed me to rule effectively for over 2 decades without significant challenge. The artistic development of this period marked a high point in the history of Egyptian sculpture and relief. The influence of Senenmut and his workshop can be seen in the coherence and quality of the surviving works. Their ability to adapt to changing political needs while maintaining an artistic integrity was remarkable. The monuments they created continue to inspire awe and admiration in the modern world. The story of my life is told through the stones I commissioned and the images I left behind. These images speak of a ruler who understood the power of art to shape history. The artistic legacy of my reign remains a vital part of our understanding of ancient Egypt. The careful study of these works reveals the depth of my vision and the skill of my artists. The integration of political message with aesthetic beauty was the hallmark of my artistic program. The result was a visual narrative that celebrated my reign and the peace I brought to the land. The mortuary temple at Deir el Bahari stands as the most enduring testament to my architectural vision. This complex was constructed on a dramatic limestone cliff face that overlooked the western bank of the Nile River. The design integrated the natural geology with a series of terraced colonnades that ascended toward the sacred mountain. I commissioned this structure to honor my divine lineage and to secure my place in the afterlife. The temple served as a functional religious center where priests performed daily rituals for the goddess Hathor. It also functioned as a monumental record of my successful expedition to the distant land of Punt. The reliefs carved into the walls documented the journey with remarkable detail and artistic precision. These scenes depicted the loading of ships with exotic goods and the return of the royal fleet. The cargo included gold, ivory, resins, ebony, live animals, and slaves from the southern lands. Scholars have analyzed these images to understand the trade networks that connected Egypt to the Horn of Africa. The botanical illustrations show plants endemic to modern Somalia and Ethiopia with scientific accuracy. Researchers believe the aromatic substance known as anti was likely from the Boswellia tree. The limestone cliffs cast long shadows across the desert floor as the sun begins to dip below the horizon. The air is still and filled with the faint scent of dry earth and ancient stone. Visitors today can walk the same paths that I once trod with confidence and grace. The temple columns rise like trees in a stone forest, their capitals blooming with carved papyrus. Soft light filters through the gaps in the roof, illuminating the faded paintings on the walls. These images depict the goddesses who protected the queen and guided her soul to the afterlife. The silence of the place invites deep reflection on the passage of time and the endurance of memory. The wind whispers through the ruins, carrying the echoes of a civilization that valued art and order above all else. In this tranquil setting, the story of Hatshepsut finds a peaceful resting place. Her life, though marked by controversy, ultimately stands as a beacon of female power in the ancient world. The final years of her reign were a testament to her resilience and her unwavering commitment to her vision. She left behind a legacy that would survive the attempts of her successors to erase it completely. The stones of her temple continue to speak her name, defying the efforts of those who sought to silence her. The historical record preserves my image as a ruler who brought peace and prosperity to Egypt through wisdom and divine favor. My reign remains a beacon of female leadership in the ancient world. The quiet dignity of my memory persists through the millennia. The stones do not forget. Even when the chisel strikes again and again, they hold the shape of my hand, the curve of my smile, the weight of my crown. Time erodes the surface, but it cannot reach the core of the truth. The truth is written in the alignment of the columns, the direction of the light, the path of the incense. Smoke. It is a truth that requires patience and care to understand. The stones speak in a language of silence and shadow, waiting for those who will listen. They tell of a woman who walked the line between the gods and the people, holding the balance steady. They tell of a time when the Nile flowed clear and the fields were green. They tell of a dream that was built in stone and has outlasted the dreamer. The wind moves through the ruins, carrying the scent of myrrh that was burned in the temples long ago. It is a scent that lingers in the memory, a ghost of the past that refuses to fade. The light shifts, turning the limestone from white to gold, then to the deep, bruised purple of twilight. The shadows lengthen, stretching out across the desert floor, like the fingers of the earth itself. The day ends, but the story continues. Written in the stone, whispered by the wind, remembered by the silence. The legacy is not in the name that was carved, but in the spirit that remains. It is in the quiet strength of the columns, the enduring presence of the temple, the unbroken line of memory. The stones stand as a reminder that some things are too strong to be broken, too deep to be erased. The story of Hatshepsut is not a tale of defeat, but of survival. It is a tale of a woman who dared to be a king, and in doing so, changed the world forever. The stones remember, the wind remembers, and now, so do you. The night falls, and the temple sleeps, but the story never ends. It waits in the dark, ready to be told again, in the light of a new day. The cycle continues. The river flows, the stones stand. The memory endures. The peace remains. The legacy lives on. The stone is cool beneath my palm, smooth as the Nile at dawn. Here in the shadow of the cliffs at Diril, Bahari, the long terraces of my mortuary temple rise in clean, ordered lines against the desert wall. The colonnades catch the early light and hold it in their pale limestone. A quiet architecture of 3 rising stages that mirror the cliffs behind them. My architect, Senemet, had drawn the plan to fold the temple into the mountain so that the building would seem less to stand against the rock than to grow out of it. The great avenue of sphinxes that leads from the valley below was lined with my own image in stone. The false beard of kingship carved on each face. The headcloth of the male pharaoh draped on each brow. The reliefs along the inner walls held the chronicle of my reign, the divine birth, the coronation, the expedition to Punt that returned with 31 living mirror, trees and ivory and ebony and apes brought up the river. For some years after my death, the priests came each morning to leave bread and beer in the offering chambers, and the temple breathed the slow rhythm of a remembered queen. 2 decades passed before the chisels arrived. The order came quietly from the court of my stepson, Hatshepsut, who had ruled long enough to feel that the years of his regency had been a debt rather than an inheritance. Workmen climbed the colonnades with the patient, methodical movement of those who had done such work before. They did not destroy the temple. They scraped my name from the cartouches and replaced my image with the names of my father and my husband and my stepson, lining the walls with a corrected genealogy that left no woman in the line of kings. They cut the faces from my statues and pushed the broken stones into a pit at the foot of the cliff, where they would lie undisturbed until modern hands lifted them out again. The Punt reliefs were left intact, perhaps because the expedition was too useful a story to lose. Perhaps because the workmen grew tired. Most of my official record was scrubbed from the king lists in the temples of other dynasties, and the years of my reign were folded into the years of my stepsons, as though I had never sat on the throne at all. The silence that the chisels made was the loudest silence of my afterlife. For 3,000 years, the king lists at Karnak and Abydos passed over my name without a pause. Travelers from Greece and Rome came to Egypt to marvel at the antiquities. Poor death. And they were told stories of the great kings of the past. And my story was not among them. Herodotus walked along the Nile in the 5th century before the Common Era and wrote down the names he heard. And he heard nothing of me. The temple at Deir el-Bahari stood through this long forgetting, half buried under wind blown sand. Its terraces colonized by Coptic monks in a later age, who used the offering chambers as cells and painted Christian saints on top of my reliefs. Time covered the building in many layers. The dry desert preserved what the chisels had left, and the long centuries waited. In the 19th century, the temple began to come back into the light. Auguste Mariette, the French archaeologist who had founded the Egyptian Antiquities Service, cleared the lower terraces in the 1850s and saw the long colonnades emerge from the sand with their blue and green pigment still clinging to the walls in places where the desert had sealed them away from the sun. Other excavators followed across the next half century, slowly piecing together the broken statues from the pit and reading the cartouches that the workmen had not quite erased. They began to understand that the figure in the temple's reliefs was not the king the inscriptions claimed, but a queen whose name had been deliberately lost. Howard Carter, before he found the tomb of Tutankhamun, cleared my own tomb at the western end of the Valley of the Kings, and found the long descending corridor that ran beneath the cliffs toward the temple above, an architecture of return that I had ordered built into the rock. The body that the corridor was meant to hold was not in it. My mummy had been moved during the third intermediate period to a smaller cache, where it lay among the wet nurses and minor royals, unidentified for another century. The mummy was identified at last in the spring of 2007, when a single tooth in a wooden box in a museum storeroom was matched by computed tomography to a gap in the jaw of an unnamed woman in the tomb known as KV60. The tooth had been buried with the cartouches of Hatshepsut, set aside as a relic of the queen, and the woman in the unmarked sarcophagus had been the queen all along, lying just out of reach for 100 years of careful searching. She was an older woman at her death, heavy in the body, with bone disease in her hands, and the marks of a lifetime of cosmetic use on her teeth. The tomb she had been moved to was not grand. The body had been wrapped roughly. Whoever had carried out the second burial had not known whose body they were carrying. The chisels had done their work well. The temple at Deir el-Bahari now receives visitors each morning. They They walk up the long ramp, between the colonnades and pause. In the small shaded chambers, to look at the punt reliefs. The ships with their sails furled. The trees lashed upright in earthen pots. The carvers of cargo, loading boxes onto the decks. Some visitors stop in front of the cartouches that were cut by Thutmose's workmen, and read the small printed signs that explain what had been written there before. They read the words quietly. Poor Death.